Go for it, Paul.
All right. Testing. Corey, you ready?
I am.
Okay. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn...
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain.
Love it. And in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me at our headquarters in New York, Mr. Paul Packler. How are you?
I'm good. I am currently drinking Dogfish Head 90-minute Imperial IPA. It has 9% alcohol per volume, which means it's like drinking 2 beers in one.
So here's what I'm saying is we usually record 2 episodes back to back. So this episode is going to be good, but Paul's going to be awesome the next episode. Stay tuned next week, guys. Paul. And Corey, how are you doing?
I'm literally floating on cloud 9 tonight because I've taken painkillers for my bad back.
All right. Am I the DD today, guys? Am I the DD? God,
I'll say I'm not in the least surprised, Scott. I feel like in our group dynamic, you kind of are the
designated driver.
I think I was when we went to Vegas. I think I ended up having to be the DD. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Hey.
Uh-oh.
I know. I thought we all froze up there for a second. Is Scott still frozen down there?
Scott. Whoa.
Oh no, we lost you for a theory.
Yeah, we lost for a second. Okay, let's pick it back up. We're good. I got everybody back. Pick it up with yeah. So you know what? Yeah, I guess we're playing it safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a designated driver thing to say.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it safe.
Better safe than sorry, guys. You know, just call me anytime.
I'm sorry. Did we invite Joe Friday over? Oh my God, Corey.
Hey guys, I'll be up. All right, you just call me whenever you need me. Okay. I won't be angry. And let's watch our language. Let's watch our language this episode too.
Language.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So if you're playing along and watching on Netflix with us, we are on Season 1, Episode 21, Stage Fright. We're getting near
the penultimate episode.
Yeah, and we're getting near the end of the season. We only have one more episode left before the season finale.
That's penultimate. That is what penultimate means.
Yes, the next to the last.
Thank you, Paul, for the big words. See, if I was
Scott, you just made me snort. I just snorted.
If I was even drinking 2 beers in one, you are still on the money, my friend. You are still on the money. In the penultimate episode, we start off we're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen with Alex and Jennifer, and Alex is having Jennifer quiz him for this big quiz competition that's coming up with the school. It's going to be aired on public broadcasting at Steven's studio. And this is what I liked about this episode is everything's kind of finally built around one central idea. There's the quiz show happening. It's happening at Steven's studio, and Elise is designing the set for it. So at least finally we have like something gelling together.
That's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
I see this episode as having, in the first act, an A story and a B story.
I agree.
In the second act, the B story goes away.
Yes, I do agree with you on that. Yes, they do, and that was the frustrating thing with this episode for me is that you had a great B story. It was awesome.
I thought it was a good B story. It was beginning to sound a bit repetitious by the last scene in the first act, which, of course, we'll get to in a moment. But other than that, I just thought, I don't know. I don't know if this is going anywhere. And sure enough, we didn't get any visual. I thought maybe they could have given us a couple of very bad sets that they could have started the show on.
I want to buzzkill a little bit harder.
Okay.
Here's the thing about the B story. The B story is that Elise is designing or wants to design a set for the big quiz-off episode. And it's like 4 days before the show, and she's still submitting designs.
Exactly, and she's designing Miss Saigon. She's not designing a set
they need to build it.
Show. Right, they still need to build it.
How is 4 days enough time? She's the worst designer ever.
True.
And by the way, to the best of my knowledge, she's an architect. I don't want to split hairs. Not a set designer. Two different skill sets.
Look, I'm a feminist. I don't need to talk about carpentry. You leave that to the professionals. I believe in her. She's allowed to do whatever she wants. I just don't care what it is. That's all.
I reserve the right not to care. By the way, if you notice, in this first scene, we also get, as we get to the end of the season, I'm very nostalgic. We get a phone call and orange juice in the first scene. It's like, oh, thank you, Gary David Goldberg, making me feel comfortable.
Yep. It's actually funny because he comes. We have that original scene, like you said, Scott, where Alex and Jennifer are running back and forth with questions, and then Mallory and Mom come in, and then Steven comes in, and when he asks Alex how he's doing, Alex answers by answering with a line, the famous, Macbeth story, monologue.
Life is a tale told by an idiot. Yeah.
Signifying nothing, right? And after hearing that, Steven then goes and pours himself some orange juice. Like, it's so depressing that he needs to steel himself with a hearty glass of orange juice.
I need some vitamin C here. Oh God. What I did, I think my expectations for a B storyline have been lowered so much that anything that comes close to it, I'm happy to see. So I didn't care about the formalities of like being an architect or set design, even though it crossed my mind. I was like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll just take it because at least it's something connecting.
One of the arguments that Steven and Elise make throughout the B plot, as it happens throughout the first half of the episode before they abandon it, is that she wants to make the set theater in the round, which means, for anyone listening who doesn't know theater terminology, that the stage is surrounded on all four sides, like stadium seating, by the audience. And I think that would have been really interesting had they shot that her design went through, and it was just the most awful set. That would be hilarious.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Like they actually take her idea and it actually is like it's red. I was actually thinking what they were gonna do is cut to because the set looks so old and that's what Steven wanted to stick with. That it just keeps falling apart as the show keeps going on. That would have been funny.
That would have been.
Yeah. So here we get to the main problem of the episode, the situation. Alex, in the middle of all this, Alex gets a phone call from one of his team members, Ted, that he is not going to be able to join them in the quiz show because he is running 104 temperature. To which Alex says, it's only life-threatening if it's 105.
That's probably true. I believe that.
I know. I was agreeing with Alex. I think Ted's a puss.
Ted's a puss.
Yeah, because I mean, it's 4 days hence. Like you're not gonna get better in 4 days.
You're not gonna stay at 104 for 4 days. Temperatures come down. Take some aspirin, get some rest, urinate, and your temperature will come down to 101.
Yeah.
And
to Ted's credit, if I can play devil's advocate, he's at the hospital. So, because like Alex ends the call by talking to the doctor.
Oh, you're right. He is at the hospital. Okay.
Yeah.
This episode is all about perspective, apparently. It's all about who do you choose to side with? The cool kids who are drinking and doing drugs, or Scott Jones? That's what this is about.
Listen, you guys can be cool all you want, okay? That's fine if that's what you think is cool.
Look at Paul taking a nice, cool, refreshing swig from his 2-for-1 beer.
It's made in Delaware, which was the first state of the Union.
And it's like having 2 beers and you're only drinking 1?
Yeah, because I mean, usually. Yeah, the percentage is usually like, 5% for a Budweiser or something like that? Mm-hmm. So this is a lot more.
So if one wanted to cut back on carbs but not on your buzz, that would be the perfect thing to do.
I guess it would.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you really want to cut back on carbs, you could probably like take Vicodin or Percocet, and then there's like very little carbs there.
Okay, thanks. That's a good idea.
Paul, what's the name of the beer again?
It's called Dogfish Head, 90-minute Imperial IPA.
So if you want to cut back on carbs, but not on your buzz, drink Dogfish Head. That's right, Dogfish Head. Please.
And we don't endorse drinking for anyone who's underage or for drug abuse. Corey has a back problem.
Oh, that's right, and it's a prescription medication, obviously.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So Barbara, if you're listening, everything is above board.
Yep, we're all good. And Barbara, I'm the DD, so I'm not going to let anything get out of hand tonight, so everything will be okay.
Paul and I are both home for the evening. We're not driving in.
Yeah, they're safe. They're safe.
I live in New York. I haven't been in a car in 20 years.
We live in Los Angeles, where we drive to our bathrooms.
That's true. I take an Uber, so yeah, saves on gas. So Ted is out of this quiz competition, and now this leaves a big hole in who's going to take his place, and it has to be a 10th grader because there has to be someone from every grade representing that school. And Mallory immediately jumps on board on this, not because she's qualified, but because she wants to be on TV.
Yeah, it was a little strange. Her motivation seemed odd in that scene. Ultimately, when she says, "I'll get to be on TV," then it makes more sense. But she like starts buttering up Alex and like giving him a massage or something, and it's just like, what's going on? Like, you're not, quote unquote intelligent, Mallory. Why are you doing this? And ultimately, it's the television thing, and he says no, and then Mom is like, you should let her on, and all this stuff, and then. Alex is ultimately, there's kids that we could audition to come in, and then we like cut to the next scene.
And the Portuguese student.
The Portuguese student who, Alex is quizzing him, and he just looks at him blankly and then speaks something in Portuguese. So, yeah.
The audience eats it up.
Oh, they love it. They love the little veiled racism there. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's no one left except for Mallory. Well, first of all, Stephen and Elise come back in, and they're still arguing about this damn set. All right, and Elise's ideas have become even more elaborate, and Stephen is really holding off trying to say how he really feels about it. And Elise kind of calls him on it.
And this is where My Fair Lady is talked about, because they're talking about theater in the round, and then Stephen says, this isn't a production of My Fair Lady, and then Alex is like, by Jove.
There's the brainstorming idea. The light bulb goes off. I will play Higgins to Eliza Doolittle, Mallory's Eliza Doolittle.
Right. It really was a forced moment. That moment seemed so forced. It's like, just work in the line, My Fair Lady, so that triggers Alex. So we have all these great My Fair Lady bits coming up for the rest of the episode.
Exactly. Now, if you want to be really nerdy about it, the play that My Fair Lady was based on was called, anybody?
Pygmalion.
Yes. Written by George Bernard Shaw, which was the title of that. Pygmalion is based on Greek mythology, which is about an artist who is the best artist on earth, and he makes a statue of a woman whom he falls in love with, and her name was Corey
Galatea.
So, if you were listening, there is a lot of trivia there for you.
Wow.
And remember, there was even a sitcom this past season based upon My Fair Lady called Selfie.
Was that based on, was it? Was that based on My Fair?
In fact, his name was Henry and her name was Eliza.
Wow.
Hilarious.
That's a premise that will never die.
No, it's just a class. It's a great story.
Yeah, because you can say, this woman's an idiot, and she just needs a man to explain how the world works to her.
Had they done it in reverse? Because they really should.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Can't Hardly Wait, maybe. Or I'm not sorry. Can't Buy Me Love, the one with Patrick Dempsey.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
That could be an example of one. Even though he goes into it knowing what he wants, it's all about her teaching him the ropes of how to be cool in high school and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but so then Alex is excited about the prospect of teaching Mallory how to answer all the questions and all that kind of stuff.
And so we cut to the next day, or later on, and they are quizzing. Him and Jennifer are really quizzing Mallory. Mallory's tired. They've been going at it all night trying to figure out, trying to get her to realize this. There's still more fighting over this set. Like, Steven even yells at Elise, it's like, the audience isn't going to have 3D glasses. I don't know how that would work.
I know. I don't. It's theater. I don't understand it. It just makes no sense. I wrote down, it just got outrageous. This was the point where this plot got outrageous to me, and I just thought, where is this going? And then I realized when we hit the second act, it was going nowhere.
Right.
They didn't even mention it in the second act.
Yeah, they really don't, which is so strange. I mean, you're looking at the set. It would only make sense to, like, talk about it.
Exactly, but
I was like, you have it. You got it. You got your B story. Just a little bit more follow through, and it's gelled. That's all it took. Like, they had the idea.
You know, this was the scene, I think, where I realized that all season long, I've been the fashion police for this show.
Oh, please. Oh, is there more fashion? Do you have some notes?
It's just Alex standing there in Argyle, Jennifer in overalls, and Mallory in a little lace doily around her collar, like Little House on the Prairie. It was like, wow, they stayed true to those costumes for 22 freaking episodes.
They did. There were moments where we thought it would go away, but they kept bringing those sons of bitches back, man.
Yep, they went shopping and they stayed committed to whatever the hell they bought at Nordstrom.
They spent all their money on this set and Tom Hanks, and that was season 1.
Shot their wad for the whole year.
And you know something? I'm going to say money well spent. Money well spent.
Yeah.
I got you, Tom Hanks. It was money well spent. I also made a note. Justine Bateman is really good in this episode.
She is.
She's really, like, just charming, plays it so well. I know we've complimented her a lot, but I actually thought Mallory was written fairly well this episode.
They gave her a lot to do. Oh, sorry, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, I have no problems with Mallory. I wish they would decide not only whether she was dumb or smart, but what's her opinion of herself? Because at times she seems to play along with everybody that she is man crazy, clothes conscious, and not very bright. And then at other times she seems like, no, you people have it wrong. I am bright. Like by the end of this episode, because she's not as dumb as Attack. She really isn't.
No.
And she says it's hard to have sitcom characters who say witty things to each other, and then how do you describe somebody who's being witty as being dumb? Because witty is a trait of smart people.
Right.
So it's very hard to make her dumb and then have her throwing out zingers, short jokes at Michael J. Fox that a dummy wouldn't pick up on.
Right. It's definitely just not writing to the top of the writer's intelligence. Like, you know, they're only writing to a situation and they're not writing to characters. I think I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how things change in season 2 because I feel like they start to do that more. That they really they anchor themselves to the characters more. From what I remember watching the show as a kid, but we'll see.
And I think that's the frustrating thing. You see how good Justine Bateman is doing with so little, and you're just like, man, I want you to, you know, get the character straight and use her more because she can knock it out of the park. If you just give her the right, she's really doing such a great job. And it's like when you're writing a character, you don't label them as dumb. A dumb person doesn't realize that they're dumb. They see the world in a different way. You know, and that's what makes them interesting. It's not, you don't label them as dumb. They just have a different perspective on everything that's off center from everyone else. So.
Now, back in the scene where they're quizzing each other, and they've been doing it for hours, and then Steven and Elise enter, they start, they have Dad come in, or they have Steven and start asking questions, like they're doing a mock-up of the game show. And then they're arguing, Elise is still arguing about the set again. Like, this episode, you know, we keep going away from the plot only because the plot is so bare bones. It's like, you could say it in 30 seconds. But what's funny, they have this little, like, Pirandello moment where Steve and Elise are arguing in the middle of the quote-unquote game show, and Alex turns to the cameras and goes, "Mom, Dad, please, we're on television here." And they all, like, sort of check the camera and the audience.
Yeah.
It's a nice little absurdist moment. I thought that once again, when they get a little heady and meta and things like that, Family Ties is really interesting and funny.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, they do a dry run, and then there's this great going back to the My Fair Lady a bit. There's this great moment where Alex asks Mallory, "What do the initials SCUBA stand for?" And she says it, and it's just like, "Say it again," and she repeats it again, and it's like, "By George, I think she's got it."
What does it stand for, Scott? I'm testing you right now.
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Boom!
Boom!
Now I'm going to ask Corey. Corey, what does SCUBA stand for? He's on drugs.
Soft core.
Underwater.
Breasts. Ass.
So, kids, this is your brain on drugs.
There you go.
It's kind of better.
It's so funny, when you were answering the question, Scott, I was thinking to myself, gosh, I hope Paul doesn't ask me that.
The moment I started setting up the bit and not saying what SCUBA was, I knew Paul was going to ask me what it was.
No idea. I couldn't figure that out. By the way, did you notice that when Mallory said it on the show, the second time she said it, she said, underwater. She went self-contained underwater. She only put 4 fingers up. It's self-contained because you have to put the second finger up for the C. But she put only 4 fingers instead of 5.
Man, Director Corey is a hard ass.
Wow.
Put up a finger for each one of the letters, Justine.
Or was it an actor choice, Corey? Or was it an actor choice?
Meaning she's not as bright as she's playing it dumb.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be.
All right. So
let's take a quick break, shall we? And then afterward we'll be at the quiz show, the exciting conclusion.
Can't wait.
So we shall be right back. And we're back.
Yeah.
Now,
how's that beer, Paul?
Something like, I'm like halfway through it, so I'm pretty good.
All right.
I just want to say, I feel like this part of the episode, if I remember watching it as a kid, would have been my favorite part of the episode.
Oh, mine too.
I don't know what it is, just like contests or where like the students put on a show in a sitcom or something like that. It's just like, this is exciting. I really like this.
Even with the ridiculous judges who I don't really understand what their point was, other than flirtation.
Yeah. Well, Corey, tell us what happens with those judges. It's the dumbest thing ever.
The judges come in, and Mallory starts flirting with the judges, and they fall for it hook, line, and sinker right away. And clearly you can see where this is going, that anything that Mallory does that the judges need to rule on is going to go Mallory's way because she's playing them like a fiddle.
Yeah.
Which is only one of many things in this scene that don't ring true, such as, if it's a game show, and it is, it would be under the auspices of standards and practices since the game show scandals of the 50s. Everything that's a contest on television, whether it's Survivor, The Bachelor, is all under the auspices of standards and practices. That's what happened.
Oh, I forgot about that whole thing.
So you have a father as the MC for a game show where 2 of his children are on one team. This couldn't happen in the real world.
No. Can you, I just want to, because I've forgotten about that and bringing up that topic, could you explain for listeners the whole quiz show, or just, in
the 50s, and I might be wrong with some of my facts because even I wasn't really aware of what was happening in the 50s, but in the 50s, it was the show, which was it?
It was called Quiz Show. The something $1 million question.
That's what was it, like I'm trying to think, $100,000 question or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And And what happened was we found out that week after week people were coming back and getting bigger and bigger ratings, but that's because the people in America were falling in love with the people, just like you do on a game show. They cast personalities, but what they were doing is they were feeding the answers to the personalities so that they would continue to win on the game show and therefore get bigger ratings, and bigger ratings meant they could charge the advertisers more money. So everybody was really running up the bill on each other. But what happened from that point forward is now anytime anyone's on a game show, you don't meet the host of the game show. I've done game shows on television. You can't meet the host of the game show. In fact, one of my good friends is a guy who hosted game shows, and it hadn't aired yet, and I did not know that he was hosting this game show. And I went to set. I was cast on a game show, went to set, and I saw that it was my friend Bob who was hosting it, and we both had to fess up. I had to say no.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I've been playing in a fantasy baseball league with this guy for 25 years. It was like, nope, I can't do this.
Can't do it.
Wow.
No, you got to
I
speak
didn't know
up,
that.
or else you could be. You have to sign something that you don't know anybody on the production company, that nobody has furnished you with any questions or anything. So anything like that is really very highly scrutinized by whatever network it's on.
Yeah, because there were like Senate committees back in the 50s when this happened.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was like what happened with baseball and steroids. It was that level of intensity around this topic. And wasn't Patty Duke one of the contestants that like had to appear before the Senate?
Oh, no, the one that I remember was Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Oh,
Dr. Joyce Brothers was one of them. And you know what she was an expert on? Believe it or not, boxing. She was an expert on boxing.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There's that great, I think Robert Redford directed it, quiz show with Ray Fiennes, which is dramatizes the whole thing. It's really interesting. It was really
and John Turturro's great in it.
Yes, he's fantastic in it. Because he wasn't. Because John Turturro's character wasn't attractive, but he was extremely smart. And then they wanted to bump him up because Ray Fiennes was this good-looking professor that would get more ratings for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he had agreed to say wrong answers and then went and testified in front of Congress that they told him the wrong answers and they told the other guy the right answers.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember the answer that he knew the answer to. It was Marty. What won Best Picture in some year? And there was a certain irony that, Marty, the plot of Marty is that it's an
ugly guy who lives with his mother.
Exactly, just like John Turturro's character in the show. So.
I love the play and the movie Marty. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
What's his name? Ernest Borgnine, right?
Ernest Borgnine. He's heartbreaking. Just a heartbreaking performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we finally get to the quiz show, the big climax of the episode, and we meet the girls of St. Mary's, the opposing team. Guys, your thoughts?
Well, Catholic schoolgirls, what can I say? Love them.
That's why I
thought it was so funny.
Corey.
The three girls are all clones of each other, and their names are like Mary Margaret and Mary Donovan and
Mary Catherine, Mary Margaret, Mary Beth, or something.
Yeah, but it's just so funny that they're all Catholic, but none of them are Italian, like Roman Catholic. They're all Irish Catholic. I don't know why
they're all Irish Catholic girls from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Are you just saying that because you're Italian, Paul?
Exactly. I thought that I was a little nonplussed that I wasn't represented.
I hear it. Fair
Did
enough.
you notice one of the judges sort of kind of reminded you of Skippy?
A little bit, yeah. The one with the glasses?
One with the glasses, yeah. Reminded me of Skippy.
Yeah.
I thought, was that Mark Price? And it was like, no, it's not Mark Price. Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Mark Price could, inhabit some other character and be believable.
So what we gather from St. Mary's School is that they are very intense and they know every answer possible that Stephen's going to ask them. So Alex has his work cut out for him. And this is where we get to the problem of the episode is the moment Alex has
the titular problem.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the titular problem.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite realize that until we actually hit this moment. I realized, oh, wait a minute, this is just a dreadful idea.
It comes out of nowhere. It really, it comes out of nowhere. The moment Alex has to look into the camera and say an answer, he gets stage fright. And
totally freezes up.
Passes out.
And collapses.
Yeah. Right there. Which...
You know what's interesting is that Michael J. Fox is so good at appearing like pasty and sickly.
Yeah.
Like he looks at that camera and you believe that he's about to throw up.
And Michael,
he's in like a.
Michael J. Fox.
Go ahead, Scott.
Michael J. Fox plays it great. Like for what he has to do, he plays it great.
Mm-hmm.
So we have him freezing up on camera and basically Mallory flirting with the judges. That's how the scene sort of goes on.
Yeah, Mallory does a mix of giving wrong answers, and then the judges give her the points for it, or she does get right answers.
It's never clear, and by the end of it, we're supposed to take away that Mallory did this, like she led her team to victory, but no, she really didn't. It was so muddled.
Yeah, you know who cared. I think it's a debate between who cares less about the rules of this game, our audience of listeners or the judges themselves.
It just seemed as though the judges were simply there to flirt with Mallory. That was it.
Yeah.
It feels like
go for it, Paul. No, just that throughout this episode, I'm a pretty smart fella, and these questions that they were asking were so fucking hard. I've never seen harder trivia questions in my life.
Did you guys have a show like this where you grew up? Because it was a local franchise. In New York, it was something called It's Academic. And it ran for like it was on local TV, like local NBC. And it was on like Saturday or Sunday afternoons at like 6 o'clock. And it was local high schools playing each other. And then the high school that won came back the next week, and you'd be able to come back week after week. And I know that they had this around the country, but in other cities it was called other things.
We never had it in Pittsburgh where I grew up. But based on what you said about your summer camp stories and stuff like that, did you go on the one in New York?
No, never did. I did very well with trivia, but never went on It's Academic. My high school never had a team. I'm not going to say that. My high school did have a team. I just didn't do it. No,
okay.
I remember them doing it.
What about you, Scott? Did you have the game, or did you go on or anything like that?
Well, coming from the backwoods of Georgia, and lack of electricity, we would just gather around the barn, and it would be us versus usually the cows.
Wow, it's like, can you remember the cow's name? And you're like, I can't. And then we're like, see you next week.
That was it.
It's a hell of a story, Scott.
What's sad is a lot of times the cows won. That's what was really disappointing.
Hell of a story.
Hell of a story.
Yeah. And they always ended the episode with, "We'll steed you next time."
Lots of puns. Oh, God. So yeah, I did. The one joke that did make me laugh out loud was the Master and Johnson joke.
Yes.
That was funny. That was a good bit.
Yeah.
Just to cut to the Catholic girls, and they couldn't even say it out loud. They had to whisper it in Stephen's ears.
You had to whisper the word sex. Yes.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, and that was the final question that it was like the tiebreaker or whatever, and that's what put them over the top.
Well, in my experience, sex always puts Catholic girls over.
Oh man, you're like a ribald Billy Joel character.
I like to be ribald.
Oh,
ribald for her pleasure.
We need to coin that phrase. That's an awesome phrase, Paul. That's awesome. Of course, like
and then the thing.
Go for it.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Scott?
I didn't have anything. Just go.
Oh, just that. So the game ends. It was a close game. They did well, except for the whole cheating thing. And then St. Mary's walks off. And then the family runs on to make sure Alex is okay. And then it becomes a whole episode, a scene about Alex being too tough on himself, about trying to win and stuff like that. We totally don't give a shit about Mallory.
Who basically came and saved the day. She had a very good showing for them.
Yeah.
That's been the through line throughout this whole entire season. Nobody cares about Mallory.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Yeah.
Very much, and it goes back to what you were saying, Corey. It's like they haven't figured out her voice for this entire season, so no one can care about her, and yet you have this great actress, doing a good job. So, but yeah, even when Mallory comes over to talk to Alex, it's still about Alex. Like they can't give Alex a moment to thank Mallory for doing this, even though they barely they lost.
Right. There's like an emblematic moment where she comes over. Mallory, Corey is drinking something out of a tiny pint glass. What is that? Oh, he's making a terrible face.
Corey, just take it easy, okay? We have a long night ahead of us.
My wife knows that I'm in pain, so she brought me over a variety of painkillers.
Wow.
Yeah. That was sweet of her. It was very nice.
That was a painkiller from the Civil War. Now, next
yeah.
Like bite the
now
bone.
We have to amputate your leg.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Bring out the bone saw and the lead bullet.
I cannot wait to listen to these episodes back. It's going to be great.
But just let me see. Just in closing, then, so the thing about that where they shut out Mallory and for the sake of Alex being the center of attention is that she comes over and she's talking to him and being like, "Man, you were really crazy out there and this and that," and then he's like, "Well, shut the fuck up," and then he actually says, "Can I talk to you for a second?" She literally walked up to you. There's no one else around.
Right.
He can only talk to her on his own terms when he says it's okay to talk.
Right. Now, can I talk to you for a second? We've been talking for the last minute and a half.
I came over to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh. And then there's the goofy line at the end, I plead the fifth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had virtually no ending.
No.
Yeah. No ending.
And Alex, to the best of my knowledge, was in some state of unconsciousness while the cameras rolled for 30 minutes.
No, it was worse than that, Corey. They make a line during that scene between Mallory and Alex where he says 2 hours. That game show lasts 2 hours.
Oh my God.
And he was unconscious with his father 3 feet away from him, not doing anything about it.
And they took a commercial break.
They don't show commercials on PBS.
Exactly, they don't have commercials on PBS.
But they took a break, and no one helped him then. So it was frustrating because this had the gears to be an even better episode. Like they had the stuff there to make a good episode. It just was poorly executed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh?
How's the beer, Paul?
I'm down to about 30% left.
Okay.
Corey, what kind of bourbon are you drinking?
Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
Jim Beam's Devil's Cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Beam's Devil's Cuts. From the Civil War era, if you're in
From the Civil War, exactly. There'll be an amputation.
If you need your leg amputated. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for us today. Rate and review our show on iTunes. And for questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yes.
Okay, let's do a quick pause, and then we'll start up with the credits again. I just want to add this in for just a thing to talk about. About stage fright. If any of us has ever felt stage fright.
Sure.
So let's just to Bryant, we're just put this into the episode before we would start the credits.
Cool. Sorry I jumped in too soon, Paul.
No, not at all. No, it was something that I wanted to talk about, but I just didn't know where to throw it in there.
No, I like it. Okay, so we're cutting and...
One last thing that I wanted to discuss was, with the title of the episode being Stage Fright, and with the three of us being actors and performers, have any of you dealt with stage fright at varying points in your career? Is it something you never dealt with? If you did have it, how did you deal with it? Just opening that up to discussion.
Nope, never had a problem with it.
No, I mean, I've had typical being nervous to go out on stage, but not stage fright where I'm paralyzed and pass out and I don't want to go out on stage at all. Or I'm blacked out. I've been like, oh, nervous, okay, but that's a good thing for an actor usually.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had it, Paul?
No, I always liked being up in front of people. It wasn't until lately.
Yeah.
Until lately, with certain things like where I would be doing improv shows, or even, I'll be honest, sometimes after doing these shows, I'll get really like down on myself and be like, "Oh, did you do a really good job?" Or so it's not even. I never get nervous going up in front of people or acting or performing or anything like that. It's always after I like talk about stuff as me that I feel like I said too much stupid shit or something. And it reminds me of I saw Inside Llewyn Davis, where it's bookended by that cowboy who beats him up in the alleyway after he performs the songs that, once again, bookend the movie. Where I feel like it's symbolic of his own, I guess, self-loathing or something. And so that I really identified with. But that isn't something that I ever had until, like, the past few years, where I start to get, like, a little weirded out about the job that I did. So that's my, like, stage fright thing now.
I think that's the hindsight of doing stuff like stand-up and improv, where you're kind of in the moment and then you look back on it and you're always going to be, it's that hindsight of, like, questioning how good it went. Because I remember when I do it, I feel the same thing after doing an improv show. I'm just like, oh, I missed that moment or this moment, or I could have said this. And it was the same when I did stand-up. It's like, oh, I should have delivered that joke this way. Or, you look back on it. Yeah, and you can be a little bit more critical. But I don't think that's really stage fright. That didn't stop me from wanting to go back up again.
No. But it's just, that's it. That's just my weird thing.
Yeah.
Idiosyncrasy.
I get it. Yeah. Well, guys, I think that wraps it up for us tonight. Rate and review our show on iTunes. For questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Qtwft for all our updates. And you can also follow each of us on Twitter as well. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler. And I think we lost Corey, so he's at Corpep.
Yep. And be sure to like us on Facebook. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanboy Comics. Fanboy Comics is an online conglomerate of geek media providing its readers with daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum. Check them out at fanboycomics.net. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the Family Ties theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's music and dates at perryadams.com. We also like to thank Brian Dillon, who created our fantastic drawing and artwork as well as edits our show. Brian is the president and co-founder of Fanboy Comics. Follow him on Twitter at Comic Book Slayer. And lastly, we'd like to thank Sean Foster, Fanboy Comics graphic designer, who also was designing our logo. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye! Bye-bye.